Welcome, everybody, to the Outscaper Podcast. Today, my guest is Isaac Martin with CM Outdoors in Wyoming. How's it going, Isaac?
It's going good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Thank you for joining us. Isaac and I, we've been friends for a while now. I built a couple water features with you, right?
Yeah.
I helped you build your first one.
The first one?
That one didn't go too smooth, but
we had our.
It wasn't our fault. It was someone else's shovel's fault.
Yeah.
No,
that was not fun. Yeah, it was the tamper.
It was a hand
tamper on the first falls. Tamper on the first falls.
Got
us on the.
Yep. New guy pinched that liner right in between the rock and the first fall, and that was pretty much the end of that one.
Yeah, and then we fought it.
The second one went great. Those big old urns that we did.
Yes, my clients are very happy with them, and they really like them. It's crazy. You go back to that kind of stuff and you see how much better you can do every time. But,
right.
You know,
now
you can only do it by the reps.
Yeah, because you ended up putting plants and everything around it, right? Probably looks pretty good.
Yeah,
now.
And what we need to see in the spring when everything like really grows again, because everything in the spring will grow 3 to 4 times of when it was installed.
Yeah, exactly.
So
cool. So Isaac, you are in Wyoming and you have CM Outdoors. So rebranding has come up a couple times, but the main thing we want to get to, which we will, but we'll take this plane off. Isaac and I talk a lot about just the hardscape industry and just how different it is compared to other industries and how tough it is. So we'll get into that, but let's just chat really quick about what you do now and how you started out, because you used to be Care-More Lawn Care, right?
Care-More Lawn Maintenance.
Lawn maintenance. Okay, so you started out doing lawn maintenance.
Yes, and I actually bought that business with 40 accounts.
Oh, okay. I knew that.
I bought. Yeah, so the year I got married and bought a business in the same year.
Awesome.
Which is kind of a wild thing. I think looking back, it's like I actually did that the first year, but
yeah. We would have to ask your wife about that one.
Yeah, that wouldn't be asked. And it was good because we honestly worked together. So it did go good, but you can't grind quite the same that you can if you're single. I would say that, it's not the same. It was still really good. I mean, from day one, we grew what we bought immediately in size and in revenue. We never struggled getting to the next mark in revenue every year.
Right.
For starting off on a small business. I mean, I think they were doing 100,000 or less. And
when you bought it,
I know within 2 years, yes, when I bought it. And I know that we were at 250 by the second year, at least. We were over $250,000. And I was taking home 60, 70,000 at that point.
Nice.
And we were just doing maintenance
route, especially in Laramie, Wyoming.
Yeah, Cheyenne.
That's right. You're in Cheyenne.
But Laramie County, Cheyenne.
Yeah, Laramie.
Cheyenne, Wyoming. But we were doing fertilizer, sprinkler repairs, and mowing, and then some snow removal.
Awesome.
And in the first couple of years, it was just residential. So we were just out there with a shovel, honestly.
Yeah.
Doing snow removal. And then I obviously wanted to keep going and keep growing that. So I just kept growing the snow removal side of things and the lawn care. And then I think 2020, I took my first project-based jobs. And was like, okay, yep. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed doing it. And then I went from there, and then you just have the struggles of help and figuring out help and managing help. And I had some really good guys, but then some of them, they wanted to move on to the next thing. One moved on to be an airplane pilot. He liked doing what we did, but he wanted to do that. And I still learned. So then we went from that to, I think it was 2022. I had a guy hired, and this is kind of what kicked it off into the next thing was I had a guy hired to really do my installs, and he was doing really good, helping with the installs, and I would help him there and then manage everything else. And middle of the summer, he comes to me, he's like, I got a better offer with my old boss. Sorry, I'm leaving. So then the rest of the year, I grinded out and just did all the landscaping myself with 2 high school kids. And we got a lot done. We accomplished a lot. And at the end of the year, I was just like,
were you still doing the maintenance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I had 2 guys on maintenance, and that worked good. And we really didn't, like, complaints wise, we didn't. It just was a lot to manage because in the field all day and then invoice all night and make sure everybody's happy. And then somehow I guess where honestly, some of the same struggle that I still see in the design side of things is just like, if you're going to do irrigation, then you need a tech to do irrigation, So if you're an owner operator, like I am, you get spread so thin trying to get all the sprinklers started up in the spring and also start all your construction jobs and get the mowing route going and somebody going on the fertilizer route. Like, you feel like there's so many things happening at once. It's like one guy truthfully can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not reasonable for one guy to do it. But then how, when you are small, do you scale and efficiently and be paying people that can actually do those jobs? That's what I would say. And that's where I found that. And I was just like, well, I'm going to figure out how to take one thing out, and I'm going to get rid of fertilizing and mowing and, mostly sprinklers. And then we'll just do project-based work. And then I'll just be like me. And that was good. We rebranded, I guess, the end of 22, beginning of 23.
Okay.
Is when I officially rebranded and got going. I was like, well, I'm going to get rid of the maintenance. I'm going to get rid of the thing. And then I was kind of, if I do this, I don't need a shop. I can just have a yard space. Because at that point I was renting from the landlord, and I'd actually built the shop on the property as part of our lease agreement. Looking back, I'm like, dang, but we were living there. It was a pretty small house. Looking back, I'm like, shoot, I should have got more ROI out of that shop or whatever. I mean, there's always things as hindsight 2020. I don't miss the house, but I miss the shop. That was a nice part. So anyway, then we moved to just the yard space, and it worked. Honestly, we did good. And then I bought a house. That was the deal. I bought a house in town. And so there was that to think about. And so we weren't renting the other place. So I was just like, we'll just rent a small yard space. We went to that model, and that worked, but you don't have a place to store piles of dirt or have things delivered very easily. That's a struggle. And then that was the first year of just project-based work. We did really good. I mean, and over the summer, obviously, spring and summer, we were very busy. Economy was good. I didn't spend any money on ads besides my website. At that point to bring in work. I just was word of mouth and people finding me on Google My Business. Wasn't that about when we started talking?
Yeah, I think so. We built you a new website.
Yes, you did build a new website.
I remember what it looked like.
You did,
before.
But no, before you did the website, remember, I was your first guinea pig with the Google My Business profile, because we ran the business Google My Business.
But we were already talking before then, I think.
I think so too, because that started in December of 23.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was like, I knew I wanted to get some more to keep the leads coming in the fall.
Yeah.
Because what I found in my market is like your phone rings in March and April and May, and everybody wants everything done. And if you tell them August, they're going to be like, oh, somebody else. Honestly, they'll even hire some just chucking a truck guy. They just want landscaping done.
Yeah.
And so then they're not looking for, I guess, my specialty. But what's crazy is right when I rebranded, and that first year, I had landed a really solid job. And she's still an extremely good client and friend now. It was a full build, full design job, retaining walls, grade work, pavers, pergola, everything. And that job was, she saw my worth. She paid what I wanted. And I was able to price that job extremely well. I didn't feel like I was competing with anybody. I mean, truthfully, she was comparing my bid. The first phase was like $36,000 to the other guy's phase. First thing was $9,000. And she showed me, is like, is there a reason? Like, why is this so much?
Something's missing.
She's like, I was like, because something's missing.
Yeah.
And so then that's how it was. And then it's hard not to feel into this desperate thing, because the season's so short, and it's like, well, I'll take any work that it is. And then you're probably taking jobs that are either underpriced or that you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because I feel that pressure of winter's coming. I'm going to be out of work, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But 23 was a good year. Revenue wise and profit wise, we were good. But then going into winter is when I'm like, you have the overhead of, I bought an excavator that year. I already had the skid steer from the year before. I bought another trailer and another truck, and, trying to make everything work and make sense. And I mean, looking back now, you could say, well, there's ways that you could maybe scale that.
Yeah. For you guys going into winter, does that mean like, do you shut down no matter what? Or does it mean like there's just no work?
We found that there's just no work in the industry that I was trying to do.
Yeah.
No matter what, like, everybody be like, well, let's wait till spring.
Yeah.
The problem is when you're running into that and talking to these guys, they're like, well, yeah, we want to get something done, but we'll talk to you in the spring. I'm like, well, you talk to me in the spring, it's not done.
Yeah. So the culture there is everyone pretty much, they're just done for the winter.
Yes. And they know that winter is, that way. But I think that there's a huge part of it that some of the culture got influenced by. There's two guys that have done well, and they've been in the industry for years and years and years. And they pretty much don't do anything but snow in the winter, whether it snows or not, because they get paid whether it snows or not. And believe it or not, they have maintenance contracts of some sort that pay year round.
Yeah. Have you ever regretted Get rid of your maintenance?
Yes, because of the fact of the recurring revenue that would cover your overhead of even the landscaping.
Yeah. Because I did the same thing. I have the same mindset about it. I wish I would have kept it, even just for like a marketing play, because your maintenance trucks are driving around town all over the place every single day, and people are seeing you way more
And I
than
would
your
have,
construction truck that's parked on a job site for 6 weeks.
yes. Well, and that, and also just the fact of one, recurring revenue is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
It just isn't. It's dependable every day once you get to sign. And looking back, I'm like, I could have shrunk this down. I'd do the business model on that I would look at now and see is highly effective is the Isuzu trucks, with the one bed. I'd change up the style. People, truthfully, they want their grass mowed and they want it to look good. They don't actually care on how you get it done.
Yeah.
I think us guys as operators and construction guys, and we're kind of crazy about trucks and equipment, we get in our heads every day about my client is going to like me so much better or want to do business with me so much better because I have this, that, or the next thing. And the truth is, no, they don't care.
Yeah. They just want their yard.
In the design build area, they don't care if I have an NCON or not. That's the truth. Do I like that I have an NCON? Absolutely. Does it help me serve them better in being faster? Probably yes. But at the end of the day, they're not going to look at me and go, well, I'm going to hire him because I think his equipment's going to get it done better than the guy that's honestly going to do it with a shovel.
Yeah.
Or more labor. They really, when it comes to, and there's obviously strategies that you have to figure out how equipment benefits you. And it has to be for you and building for you. It's not, you can't scale on the basis of what do my customers want. You have to go, as far as in equipment, I'm saying. Scaling as far as equipment, you have to look at. And that's why I say that about mowing. We get in our head, well, they want the mower. And the reason I say that is because like the mowers, they're like, oh, well, they want the pickings clipped up, or like the mowing stuff picked up and they have to have this done. It's not really true. Yeah. If you tell them this is how we're going to do it and you make it look good, they're not going to. If they like your price and they like you and they want you and your brand, then they're going to pay that. Yeah. But looking back, I would be like, maybe not do quite as much, up your ticket price and say it's a contract for the year. You can either pay in 12 months or you can pay in the 8 months of summer. And this is your monthly payment. And your monthly payment is what it needs to be. And it covers mowing. It'll start your irrigation and turn it off. It will do your fertilization and we'll mow and we'll do a spring cleanup and a fall cleanup. And then either let's divide this into 12 monthly payments and it starts January 1st and your contract, or starts March 1st and just renew the contract every March, or you do it 8 months and it starts in March and ends in November.
Yeah.
And then you have that consistent 8 months of, I know that I'm going to get this much every single month. And just tell them, hey, if it doesn't rain or your grass isn't growing as much because it's hot, that's okay. We're going to still come. We're going to pull any weeds in your flower beds. We're going to walk around the property and spend 10, 15 minutes, maybe not quite as much as if we mow, but we're going to spend some time, blow all the hard surfaces off and just make it look good. We're going to still service it. Even if we don't mow, we're going to still service it.
Yeah.
And sell them on a maintenance package. We're here to do an outside thing. And you could probably sell that at a higher ticket, even monthly, because they're like, oh, one monthly payment, this is done.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus you tell them $50 a week or $75 a cut. They're like, what? Versus if you say $400 a month, they're like, huh? That's not a big deal, right? Or $500 a month. They're like, okay, seems reasonable, right? To do all this stuff, to just divide that out and they don't look at it the same. Or because it's divided over 12 months, it might be like $300 a month, okay? Or something like that. And psychologically, they're like, okay. So to me, it would be the reoccurring revenue you're also getting on somebody's property every single day.
Yeah. And building that relationship. You have that relationship with someone with 40 people.
Absolutely.
And that's more people than you're going to see over the course of a year doing one-off projects, probably.
Correct. So you have that. And obviously do branding to them as if, hey, we can redo your backyard.
Yep.
We can rebuild that retaining wall. For what I do now, hey, we can redo that concrete driveway, the garage, I have a construction side of it that you take on what you want, but just market to those clients too.
Yeah.
And then as you say, you have clients, obviously you're going to have clients that come in from new builds, new construction in our area, get them signed up on a maintenance plan. Maybe they don't want you to mow the yard, but maybe say, hey, this is how much if we come every week, mow the yard and do the weeds and make sure everything's still looking good. And this is how much if we just come every week or every 2 weeks, we'll have the maintenance guys come around on their same maintenance route and do a round around the house and make sure there's no weeds and make sure there's, people would pay all day, every day for that.
Yeah. It's an easy foot in the door offer, and it's valuable to them. I mean, it helps them. It helps the husbands. Like, you don't have to, clean up around the yard on Saturday. You can spend time with your kids. And it's an easy foot in the door offer for you, because eventually they're going to want a project, or eventually they're going to have a friend who wants a project. And now if you have 40 of those people with that potential, it just year over year, that potential exponentially increases, and it just helps build your brand, and it's that much more money. And not to mention just the piece that knowing every month you have that set income coming in, no matter what that can bring you as a owner operator. I mean, it's really nice to know that you have that money coming in, as opposed to chasing job after job after job. And not saying that guys aren't successful doing that. There's plenty that are, but there is this conversation that we're having. There's an aspect to maintenance that can really benefit owner operator in the 500,000, trying to get to $1 million. Like, if somebody's thinking about rebranding and questioning, I see it all the time. Should I get rid of my maintenance? I did, and I kind of regret doing it. Really. And I would say the same. Guys, I would say really think about keeping it, if only for like a marketing play.
And to me, it's like, if it would cover your overhead on all your equipment, and pay the 2 guys that you're sending out every week to do it, you're money ahead. Even if it is absolutely no money in your pocket as far as the business, you're still money ahead, because say it takes care of your skid steer and your excavator payment and your truck payment that you have out doing on the construction job. You're ahead, definitely can, plus more. You can afford to handle those construction jobs. And then you aren't even going to feel as pushed on those construction jobs to be like, I have to get this done today or I don't make any money. Or, I'm saying, yes, you're going to make money. What I'm saying is, but you can now honestly sell the project-based work at a better margin.
Yeah.
But then it's just a foot in the door.
If something goes south on the project, which inevitably it does more often than not, you have that cushion with the recurring revenue from the maintenance. And it just...
Yes. And if it's the 30th and it's going to take to the 7th to get the part, to get the job done, to get the paid, at least last month's bills are not a problem.
You have that.
And even the next month's bills are not a problem. And then you don't have to try to push so many guys out in the field.
Yeah.
You can say, listen, we're here to do a quality job, and you would end up building a better brand by not being stressed about trying to return, because that becomes somewhat of a problem in project-based work. Is you're fighting the balance between being extremely detailed and delivering an absolutely high quality project, because as guys that are owner operators and have design and talent for this stuff, that's what we want to deliver. But then we're also racing on the other end of the clock of, this has to be done in this kind of man hours to get to work.
Yeah.
And custom based project, landscaping, water features, things like that can take up a lot of man hours.
Yeah.
That on the front face, homeowners might not understand before they see you do it, how many man hours it actually takes. And so then you have to have a way to sell that, a way to be able to do that and handle that either way. And I'd say even the other side of it is just with the maintenance thing, not even just the mowing, but even the sprinkler stuff and the fertilizing stuff. If you have a maintenance route, I see it as I could have 2 guys running mowing crew that are mowing, and they're in a Isuzu truck. And then you have 1 guy that's doing fertilization, has another truck. He's doing fertilizer every month or 2 months, and he's doing irrigation turn-ons. And I think that the same guy, maybe sometimes you get him a laborer, but if you had an irrigation tech and a fertilizer, he could handle both of those aspects, where 2 days out of the week he's fertilizing and 3 days out of the week he's sprinkler, or vice versa. And if he's less on one, he can be more on the other. But you could easily fill the gap with a guy and pay him $60,000-$70,000 a year, and he'd make a good deal on that.
Right.
But it's also getting in front of the people that somebody just calls you and says, hey, I need a sprinkler fixed. And you're out there within the same week or the next day, and have that guy fixing that sprinkler, and have that guy that's doing that say, here's some marketing literature on our business. Here's just a pamphlet on what we do. And that guy is like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And next thing, they're calling you saying, hey, I want a water feature. I want a patio. I want a deck. And you're feeding that by one touch. And that one touch of a simple entry thing of $75 to $250 to fix their sprinkler, you already touched them more or less once or twice to get your foot in the door to be on to the next thing.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as your confidence in being able to sell them on something bigger.
Yeah. And it's, we make it sound like, just do this, just get another guy. And, and
well,
probably people listening going, what do you mean you don't just get another guy? And you're absolutely right. You don't just get another guy. But
Well,
it's
that's
the
true.
intention, right, behind it. Like you as the owner operator, like for me, I trained my maintenance guy. And then
Yeah.
you have to get the maintenance to the point where, okay, you can have two guys, and the lead guy's job is to duplicate himself, just like you
Yes.
duplicated yourself. And you have to build that culture in it. So now you have that running. So that piece is good, cool. Now go train yourself a irrigation guy if that's what you want to do,
Yeah.
right? So you start doing the irrigation and then get yourself a helper, and you have to put in the time. Like it takes time to build this stuff. And so you have to keep duplicating yourself, and it's a long-term strategy. I think a lot of guys,
No, that's
we watch Instagram and we see these new guys, and it just looks like they just came out of the woodwork, and they're all of a sudden this big successful company. But what you don't see through Instagram is the years of building it to
and that's exactly what I would see here and what I would notice for myself, like on how that works and how that plays out. I was just thinking about that. It's like we live in the here and now world, and they don't think about 5-year business plan or what that looks. And some of that just comes with experience that I couldn't have told you 9 years ago of being in business, what I've learned and what I haven't learned and where the struggles have been. Yet at the same time, being impatient for that new mower, that new truck, the next, whatever, what you can actually do in 5 years if you can line yourself out on that and be like you said,
be intentional.
do maintenance, be intentional about the maintenance, and just do maintenance so well by duplicating your next guy for 2 years if you have to. And once he's solid, then boom. All right, next step. Okay. Then you duplicate yourself for a year on somebody for doing irrigation tech. That says that they have to stick around, but you have to slow down and create the culture that does that. But then that also comes back to charging.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, if you keep your overhead and your things and not always chasing the next payment of what you want to have, you can have the room to do that. And then 3 to 5 years, you can be doing the install and buying the excavator.
Yeah.
Cash, maybe.
Right. So now that takes us to, okay, you got an install crew. Now you want to duplicate yourself. That brings us to our conversation probably now that we've been having about just how hard that is on that side of things. Especially, let's just set the context in the hardscape world, right? And the amount of overhead that it takes. And then we were talking about this a few weeks ago when you called me, right? And how we were talking about, okay, like you needed some work, and we were talking like, what's some of the work that you've been doing that's been highly profitable? You started doing pole barns. And this is where this conversation has come up, which we've talked about before. But the amount of overhead it takes to run a hardscape crew, it's like $200,000. I talked to one of my other clients. He was like, I have $200,000 in for my crew. It cost me $200,000 to create this crew. And if I wanted to create another crew, it's another $200,000. He's like, maybe I could share one of the, skid steers or excavators, but $200,000. And so now you're starting to build some pole barns. And what did we say? It's like, you need a truck
or less.
and a truck bed of tools.
I could do it out of the back of my wife's Escalade if I want to.
Right.
I could have babe take me to work and drop me off, and she go back home, and I'd have a box of Milwaukee pack outs and have everybody deliver, because in the construction industry, you can easily get a building package delivered. You can easily, they're not going to hesitate to deliver your trusses, your posts, your metal. It's honestly, I can do so much of it. I've just been doing it this week in the office. I'm like, I am playing with and touching $500,000 worth of work with so little effort. A pole barn estimate. After you do 10 of them, you can do one in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I can tell a client over the phone, hey, this is probably where you're going to be in for budget. Does this work for you? Shall we meet on site and discuss what you actually want? My first big barn I sold from ads, I have not met her yet.
Oh, you haven't even met her yet?
No.
Wow.
No.
That's amazing.
I mean, I do know who she is.
Yeah.
And she was aware of my company, but at the same time, we're going to meet for the first time tomorrow morning. And that's to...
And she's already signed.
Yes. We're already signed. That's to pick up the deposit.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And just this look at which direction the building's going to turn.
Yeah.
Because you can tell me over a 5 to 10 minutes discovery call, I can say, okay, this is probably the ballpark that you're going to land at. One, do you have the funds to get started on this? Like you just give me the word and we get going. This isn't like, I can come meet you. Yeah, absolutely. But this is also what you're expecting. Is this reasonable? Yeah. So, I mean, what have we had? 60 people probably, I think, that we've come close to talking to. 5 to 10 of them are are really serious, I mean, and we're talking Facebook ads. So right now our ads aren't running, right? They haven't ran for a week, but and we're going to run them again. That is still doing more than you think, because I just got a lead today that she happened to see my Black Friday ad and is emailing me on my own email saying, we want a barn now.
Nice. From your website?
Correct.
Yep.
From just the fact that we did advertise.
Right. Yeah.
And they're a serious buyer.
That's
they know what they want. They're ready to move. Get us an estimate. Let's sit down and get some contracts signed. Obviously, that does come down to budget and what they want to spend, but obviously they know this is going to cost money. And I feel like it's a thing in the construction industry that nobody's thinking that this is going to be a $5 or $10 job. Asking me to show up and build them something. I mean, I just bid out a basement for $1,000, and you might not think that that's. I mean, it seems like a lot of money, but then you look at the scope of the work and think it's like, yeah, it's a decent amount of scope of work, but it's just honestly, it's less complicated. It's
right.
So much less complicated than the hardscape industry. So I love the hardscape industry, and I have sympathy for the hardscape industry. It's just in my market, one, selling it that year round consistently. Maybe there's tons of ways that I've fallen short of probably, doing it better. But like we were just talking about, $100,000 worth of investment, you can rent the lift for a reasonable price that you can actually work into your margin that makes sense. Like as far as building a barn, if you need to rent a lift and rent a telehandler, even if you want to set trusses, there's enough margin there that you can afford to do that.
Yeah.
And you can do that for 2 years if you want to, and you won't lose money. Whereas you can't effectively rent enough equipment in the landscape industry and then have any margin left.
Yeah.
Because if you're renting the excavator and then a skid steer to move material and a compactor to compact the base and like a laser, like I'm just saying, say somebody that just wants to go start building a patio tomorrow, right? You could maybe do it without a laser, but I'm just saying.
Line levels. I mean, look what the Egyptians did. That's probably what someone's getting right now.
I do have a friend that he doesn't own a laser.
Oh, funny.
And he builds retaining walls. And I'm like, dude, huh? I mean, so I'm just saying, I guess it is doable. Am I saying there's not money in the industry of hardscaping? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
I'm saying the infrastructure, and then the problem is you have the overhead that it has to carry that. Finding the guy that wants to do that, that's not already an owner operator, is the difficult part as far as in the discussion of duplicating yourself.
Yeah.
How are you going to
someone that has all that skill? Because if you think about
Correct.
the skills that are necessary, I mean, you need to know how to shoot grade. So like kind of survey and shoot grade. You can go just do that for an excavation company. That's a whole skill in and of itself. And we need that skill just to start our job, and then all the compaction, laying the base, and then essentially, almost being a mason. If a mason's listening, he's going to think I'm an idiot, but working with concrete in a way that you're using concrete kind of like you are with wood. It's different. It's tough. Plus electrical and plumbing, and then if you're doing pergolas and decks like we did, it's carpentry. I mean, a custom home builder, they don't build the homes. There's some companies out there that probably have all the guys, but they bring in individual trades to put this home together.
Even if I'm correct. Even if I'm a general contractor that goes and builds a house, okay? Yeah. And I have a crew of 3 guys that builds the house, okay? We're going to come in. We're not going to do the foundation. That's a concrete company.
Yep.
We're not going to do the excavation. That's an excavation company.
Yep.
We're going to start when the foundation is already done.
Yep.
So that's like showing up to lay pavers when the base is already done and screeded, and you can lay pavers on the first day.
Exactly.
So you square off some lines, you do your wall plates, and you're starting to build a floor in the first day. And within a week, you can build a full house because you're so repetitious in similar things. Like it's not like one day you're building a house dealing with lumber, and the next day you're building it with steel. No. Yeah. You're building with lumber every single day. And the same rules apply to the same thing.
Yeah.
So you create that momentum. Say you're a contractor and you build. And then after that, your crew goes and starts and builds the next house.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're coming back. You have electrical and plumbers and HVAC and all you guys, everybody.
Yep.
You might come back and maybe your guys will do the siding, right?
Yep.
Whereas in landscaping, I'm there. I'm doing the grade work. I'm looking at the house going, well, the final grade is off. It's either way too high or it's way too low. We got water going here. We got water going here. Yeah, the house is out of square. Yeah. the concrete's out of square.
Yeah.
There's all these things that we're looking at, and then we're fixing grade, we're doing pavers, we're running a gas line. So we're calling the plumber again, and we're just doing, but when you build a custom home, we're talking $1 million, okay? Or at least over the $500,000 and $600,000 mark, right?
Yeah. And the tools that it takes to do that is a fraction of what it takes.
I have so many friends that are general contractors that they themselves don't pick up a hammer ever. They drive the Denali truck to and from the job site and drink their coffee.
Yeah. And then have all the trades.
Whereas show me the guy that's doing that within a year of landscaping, or that didn't take them 10 years in the hardscaping industry.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because
there's guys doing it. It's definitely possible. I think the biggest thing that we're trying to say is that the hardscape industry is one of the harder trades out there because of just the realities that we have to deal with now. The biggest one being that the average consumer thinks you're just a landscaper.
Correct.
And you should only be charging $60 an hour. And we're like, you see my truck out there and that piece of equipment on it? Like, there's $150,000, $120,000 just right there. And I have a whole nother trailer full of $50,000 worth of tools that I'm going to bring too. And you want me to charge $60 an hour?
Yeah. And I think that's where it comes from.
And you don't bat an eye when a plumber comes and charges you $150 an hour, spends 5 minutes plunging out your toilet.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think that's the biggest thing that hardscapers have going against them, on top of just it being a high overhead business when it comes to the tools and everything that it takes to build a $50,000 project. It's the same tools that it takes to build a $500,000 project.
And we were just talking about this the other day, that I have a crew of guys behind me that we build 3 barns consistently. And one's a 20 by 20, and one's a 60 by 80, one's 100 by 100. The same rules are going to apply to what we're going to do. The metal's still going to go on level. We're not doing some weird design with the metal. We're not changing it. It's not like a custom patio. It's like, well, this one's going to go here. Like a building plan is pretty easy to put together, and you have it and you can build. And for sure in pole barns, let's just say pole barns, you can duplicate yourself in 6 months if you really stick at it.
Yeah.
You can easily duplicate yourself in 6 months. And hiring the right guys, being good at hiring the right guys, you could have that within a month. You're not going to do that with a hardscape technician, because he's going to be like, oh, well, you do 4 inches of base versus 6 inches of base. Or I've never dealt with this material before. And then every single job, even if you have a napkin sketch, if you're owner operator and say the struggle that I find out, I'm the one that knows what's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if I do landscape it out, I'm going to still spend time. I am the one that saw the vision and see the vision of what the client wants. So how do I give that vision to my guy that he's actually going to do that versus a pole barn? Because we're talking about aesthetics and looking good and looking right. And when I say, hey, I want a custom boulder into the corner of this patio and I want it scribed out, they're like, huh? Is that doable? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, that takes repetition, and a lot of repetition and skills to be good at that and doing it well, or set the rocks in the water feature. How do they get set and why you set them here? I mean, anybody can stack up rocks and run water over them, but does that mean it's a water feature? No. Or a quality project of the brand that you're trying to build. Whereas in the construction, if he knows how to frame, he knows how to frame. If he doesn't know how to frame, he isn't going to know how to frame. You give him 2x4s and the nail gun and he can go to work.
Yeah.
Which is just a different, or I give him a set of plans in the sense of, hey, we're building a 40 by 60 pole barn. Cool. Then that's what he's going to build. Whereas if I say, hey, landscape job, we're doing paver patio, water feature, sprinkler, fire feature, plants, irrigation, edging, rock, sod, mulch. I want rock here, I want mulch right beside it.
That's what I mean. And that's what's so hard. It's like what makes the hardscape industry so great, which is that because you do so many different things and every day is new, every project is new. That's why so many people, that's why I love it. I hate doing the same thing every day. But as far as like a business goes and running a business, a scalable business, that's what makes it so hard, because it's so hard to teach someone to do
absolutely
that. And it's hard to find someone who already knows that. It's
just because correct. And I wouldn't say that any of this is impossible. I'm saying it's the challenges, and one, how do you overcome it? Maybe in some markets you could do just pavers. I only do a paver patio. If you don't hire me to do a paver patio, I'm not showing up at your job. That would be different. But in my industry, a client is not going to call me, say, hey, I want the water feature in the patio, and that's all I need. And I'll see you later. And then call somebody else and get the irrigation, sod, plants, edging, rock, all this stuff. No, that's not going to happen.
A single business could get to that point. You could have a paver guy. You could have a, excavation base prep guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have these like micro crews that just go from
Do
job
one
to job
thing.
to job. The only way that works is if you have all those jobs lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's finding the secret niche of what you can repetitively do and do well and turn that over. Because if you do just new builds, not everybody, I mean, if I didn't want to be just a landscaper though in my industry. I didn't advertise myself as a landscaper.
Yeah.
Whereas if I said I was a landscaper, maybe I could do more just sod and rock jobs. But I was doing custom paver patios in an industry where, yes, some people do it, but it's still not the same in the market. Mm-hmm. So I fought the market in the fact of being the only person that's really going to pay attention and do that kind of detail, because they're like, well, why don't I just do concrete or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the next landscaper says, no, I'm not going to do that. They won't even offer it to them,
Right.
I got the paver patios. I did the pavers because I really, really marketed myself for it.
Exactly.
And grew the confidence off of that. So it's just the challenge of that. And what's the answer to that? I mean, what's the answer to successfully scaling the landscape and hardscape business? And tell me. But
yeah, I think I think it's because there's guys out there that are killing it. There's some pretty like custom hardscape companies out there that are running multiple crews doing really custom work. Well, for example, I talk about Tussey Landscaping a lot.
Yeah.
They do amazing work. But all of their people, like some of their foremans have been with them for 20 years.
Yes.
And so I think there's so much to like culture and you as a leader and how you can attract the right people and build that right team. And I think it just takes time. I don't think you can just go, I'm going to scale a hardscape company. Like,
but there's something else to think about that with the Tussey Landscaping thing like that. They have two things that you will see work in their favor in the sense of building the community, and the thing that they have is, one, their plain culture, their background. A lot of them all go to church together. So that one is a benefit. They already know each other. They already are community in the sense of that themselves. Second of all, there's a lot of relationships as far as like cousins or whatever.
Right.
That they have access to a labor pool that some of us do not have access to in the communities or the, just the areas that we live in, which I feel like helps, in that stuff. Because I know the brother of the Tussey guy, of Matt, lives here in town.
Oh, really? Nice.
And he owns at least 2 companies, if not 3.
Yeah.
And runs them successfully. So there's some obviously in just knowing how to run a company.
It's got to be in your DNA.
He's a post frame supplier company, a pole barn building company, like a structure company, and a development company, really. So what I'm saying is some comes with talent. And some of us, for sure, for me, I get stuck in my head, like, as much as I want to be a business owner in the industry of landscaping, I care so much about delivering the correct, like a good paver patio and a good water feature. I want my hands on it. It's hard for me to let go of that control of that.
Yeah.
And do it right. And I want the sod. I mean, there's so many ways. There's plenty of people that could be happy with how you do the irrigation or the sod, but then at the same time, as a guy that you care about how it's done and your name and your brand, you have to teach all of those things, even if the guy does know how to do it. Yeah. If you want to stand out in the sense of, hey, just like we know, you can show me pictures and I can tell you that's a Heiner project. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Matt has successfully done that so that you got that stamp on it. That stamp is Matt.
Yeah.
And I think anybody could do it, but it doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen easily. Whereas in the pole barn things, I care that the barn is square and straight. Okay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if guys are out there building it straight and square, I can go home and sleep at night.
Right. It's easy. Yeah. And that's where I'll have some conversations with other guys too. And I'll ask them, like, why are you in the hardscape industry? Is it because you love what you do? And this is what you want to, like, this is the industry that you want to be in. Your love is to build these projects. And this is what you want to do for your life. Or are you more business minded and you have different goals? So like for me, I loved what we did, but that wasn't why I did it. My why was to build a business that could support my family and ultimately give us a different life. It wasn't to be building these backyards the rest of my life. It was
No.
actually to get out.
Yes. And that would be the same way that I feel and why we've connected so like-mindedly
Yeah.
is that, yeah, I care about building the pavers right,
Yeah.
but I would just as soon run a successful business doing something else that is giving me more time, less stress, more freedom, more financial freedom, whether that be pay for my guys and the community that I'm supporting over making sure that everybody in Cheyenne gets a paver patio and a water feature.
Yeah. And there's
As
nothing
much as
wrong
I
with
like
either
paver
one. It's
patio.
what you want.
No.
It's what wakes you up in the morning. Like, what's driving you? I think a lot of guys should ask themselves that question, because I talk to guys who maybe they have never asked themselves that question. They're kind of burnt
Yeah.
out trying to grow this thing, and trying to like get out of this hole that they're in. And they just feel like they just can't ever get ahead because they're in this industry that's just hard. It's just hard. It's so
Yep.
rewarding, though. That's what keeps them in it.
Yes.
But maybe that's not their why. They're not in it because this is what they want to do for the rest of their life. They're in it for a different reason. And maybe figuring that reason out, what that reason is, will help them decide if this is the route they want to take, or maybe they make a pivot, and find a different service, kind of like what you did with pole barns this winter. It's gonna really, you're gonna have a different life over the next 6 months doing these barns.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, almost can't believe it. I'm like, I'm going to do half a year's revenue or a year's revenue in 6 months and touch less people
More profit
and create some more freedom. And like, I can take that off a bad weather day, or even if it's cold, I can still make production on a barn. I know that we can still make things happen, or, and I can afford that. Whereas I know guys that have. I haven't found the secret though, that have guys that have, been able to save up for everything all winter long. I haven't been able to because my overhead's too high.
Yeah.
Where the truth is, if I had a really good season of pole barns, I could easily take off 2 months. It's not a big deal, And so we do live in a market, even with the pole barns. I've talked to plenty of guys that are like, well, we want to do something in the spring. I'm like, wow, why not now? Like, is it like, oh, I don't want to build during the winter. I mean, are you out the one swinging the hammer?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little bit of a mindset that I have definitely seen in that, and that I've wondered why. Hey, why is that? What? But that I was going to say that with clarity, you were talking about that, like people understand their whys and why they do something, and clarity is a huge thing. And I was just been working on that with myself in my own development. Clarity is the antidote for burnout. The opposite of burnout. How do I say that? Like the cure. That's clarity. What I'm maybe looking for. Is the antidote the right word? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, antidote's the right word. And I feel like that's why I've even struggled in the business that I've had, is being in clear, like, what am I clearly want? Am I clearly wanting to build a business that I'm in all the time? Am I wanting a business that I just get to have fun with, as far as like, yeah, maybe I won't have a lot of extra cash, but I get to play with anything I want to, as far as like, I get to do all this stuff? Like that could drive a lot of people, Or do I want a business that is going to be sustainable and last a lifetime, that's going to outlive me and give me and my family freedom? Whereas I think I have found that a lot of my burnout comes from just working all year and go, what was that for?
Right. Yeah. Because it didn't produce the thing you really want.
Yes, exactly.
What you really want is not building cool projects. That's great.
Yes.
But that's not what you really wanted.
That doesn't, in the end of the day, it doesn't really make a difference in my wife's life if I'm stressed about building cool projects.
Yeah.
She's like, she don't care.
Yeah.
If I can hardly take off time between having to keep my schedule so full just to create enough overhead, or being stressed about not having any work in the summer or in the winter. And the climate that we've had the last couple of years has not been enough snow in the winter to live off of snow money. And we don't live in an area that cares enough about perfect and really good. Some people want good snow removal, but it's not a market that in Wyoming, if you can't go out and just plow through 2 inches of snow and walk in it with your shoes on, then you won't live in Wyoming anyways.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna last in Wyoming. You have to be okay with that, and you have to be okay with wind. And so we're just used to bad weather and bad, so the standard for that isn't there. People aren't asking for that. And so it ends up minimizing the amount of times that people have to go out and plow snow. I mean, really, I didn't have to go out unless we had 2 or 3 inches.
Right.
a snow most of the time because it wasn't that big of a deal. So then for me, I didn't find enough revenue in that to sustain not doing anything else in the winter. And that's a whole nother subject on that.
Yeah, right. We'll wrap it up here, but we've made a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
statements that are kind of
Mm-hmm.
generalized. And I think not a lot of guys realize this. So this is why I'm going to say it. I think the reality in just the trades in general, any of the industries, is
Mm-hmm.
every market's different.
Correct.
Every business is different. It could be the same industry, but different businesses. There's some hardscape businesses that have done very great. I still think there's factors within them that, there's probably some similarities with those businesses that have done great where they've been in the right market and the owners are, it's what they want to do, right? It's their why.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've taken it very seriously and done that. But I think you and I are just coming from it as the perspective we're kind of coming from, I think, is that we're more entrepreneurial minded. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's another end we're looking to, and we
Mm-hmm.
just so happen to choose the hardscape industry as a means because it's so cool. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
great things that comes from it, but the end that we're really chasing won't come. It's really hard to
Mm-hmm.
go through the hardscape industry to find that.
Exactly. And I would say the things that I love about the hardscaping community is the sense of community we
Yeah.
have.
Uh-huh.
And that's been amazing. That's been huge for us. And I would say even that point goes into your marketing thing. Like Nick has done so much for me in marketing, but part of the reason that he's been successful in understanding my marketing needs and being able to do what you've been able to do for me in the marketing sense is understanding how this game works in the hardscape industry. And I think and that you understand that not every market is the same. So you don't come to me as a marketer and say, Isaac, I guarantee you that if you do this, this, and this, you're going to have work flowing out your ears. Well, no.
Yeah.
One market, you might spend money on Facebook and it works, and another market, it doesn't. And that you might do a big Google My Business profile on one thing or a website or a LSA ad or whatever it might be in one market, be highly successful. And that's why there's so many people that jump from marketer to marketer to marketer to marketer because they're looking for the guy to give them all the answers and make them all the money. And that's the truth. That's not true.
Yeah.
And we're coming out of the the post-COVID era of work just coming to us and everything that we saw there, that you actually have to, one, be a professional, not say a salesman, but you have to be a business owner in the sense of it's not just going to be handed to you. You need to lead the clients through your steps and deliver on a great product.
Yeah.
And then that goes for any industry, obviously, but for sure in this one, when you're trying to get a higher ticket item, ask a higher margin than what the previous generations have asked, or build something that usually isn't built anymore. They didn't used to be doing patios and fire escapes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like construction is an age-old industry. Everybody needs a house, a barn, or everybody's doing that. Not everybody's dream is to spend money on that stuff, or they might want to spend money on the stuff that we do,
but they
they might not. They don't need it.
I think with the whole COVID thing and how easy it's been for the last 5 years, I think the guys who have started their business in the last 5 years or so are starting to get a taste of the markets are kind of actually like.
And what it's like to actually have to sell a job.
Yeah, and you have
not
to
be given a job and a page and a check.
You have to be intentional with what you do. If you're going to own a business, and this is what I love about entrepreneurship, is it's helped me do this. You have to be intentional about your own like personal development.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to help you be a better leader, which makes you be a better boss, which helps you be a better salesman. You have to be intentional at learning sales. So many guys aren't good at sales, and that's why they don't have a lot of work, because they don't know how to talk to people, and you need to, And so you have to be intentional at that, because the economy is just kind of, no one really knows what the heck it's going to do, And being that in the hardscape industry, we're in a luxury industry, we're not needed, it's a want. And so if people don't have the money, they're not going to spend it, And so as the economy starts to maybe get shaky and there's less people wanting to spend, that means there's more competition. And so now you have to be very intentional at putting yourself and your business in front of the people who are ready to spend. So that's marketing, right? Be intentional with your marketing and with your branding, and actually invest in it. But not just that, is you need to invest in how you handle, like how you are as a person, how you talk to people, how you make sales. Like you have to be intentional and focus on getting better at all of those aspects now because it's just harder. It's just harder right now. You know, a lot of my clients are saying they've just noticed that people are shopping more, and that's just the reality of, and that's just kind of a normal market, I think. And so the things that it takes to succeed in the market that we're looking at having is going to be night and day difference from what it took the last 5 years.
Absolutely. And I think that that's where a lot of people have struggled or been like, hey, or confused.
Yeah. What's great nowadays is there's so many opportunities to grow and get better at stuff. There's so many people out there wanting to help.
Yeah.
Hence this podcast and many others. Joshua Gillow is a great one for sales. What Weston is doing with Synced Up and knowing your numbers and stuff like that. There's so many coaches out there. I mean, it's like,
I mean, you can coach. I said you can get coached on anything. I mean, you could be a coach's coach, if you want to. And today's
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's no excuse to not be every day getting better, but it just takes that mindset. I didn't always have that mindset. And I thought,
neither have I.
I'm doing fine. I don't need this.
And you don't realize how much you short circuit yourself and your future and your family by not seeking that growth.
What do you think it was for you? What kind of helped you get into that mindset? Was there something that happened? Was it a one thing? Or
yeah, it was honestly something that happened. I really didn't think, I'm doing so bad at business, or be like, I don't know. I guess I look at myself now and I look at my business every day and things that I do, and I go, man, there's so many things I can improve on. And some days, I'll be honest, I don't feel overwhelmed with the things that I feel like I need to self-improve on to show up better for my business, to be a better husband, father, business leader, employer, whatever it might be. I'm like, man, I could really do better than this. But I got offered an opportunity to be part of was through a church group, honestly, to be part of a men's thing. I don't even know what you call it. It was just a friend I knew. He was starting like a thing for men. He really wanted to help other men, like wake up to their calling, wake up to what God has for them and their true potential. And so I attended that, and my eyes were just open to like the possibilities and just helping work through my own issues and my own things that we all sometimes deal with, but at the same time giving me so much life and community and showing me how to have structured discipline, honestly just showing me how on a lot of things. And like it opened my eyes to, hey, I always thought it is selfish in certain things, like whether it be like, say, working out was just vain, or you don't think about all these things that when you prioritize your spiritual health, your mental health, your physical health, everybody around you wins.
Right.
And people, like, when I win, so the one thing I was just like, kind of, when I win, people don't understand that when I win, how many people benefit from me winning.
Right. Yeah.
And winning as in not achieving something. And so therefore, I'm not talking as in winning, as in reaching a goal and you climax and that's it. It's winning as in the life of winning.
Yeah.
In the sense of how you are showing up for your wife and kids and your business and your community versus just being somebody that's like selfish.
Yeah.
And living selfishly, I guess. And how much when you prioritize your own health, everybody around you sees that and can benefit from that because you're not a drain on society.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we live in a world of that.
Yeah, in the ministry world, because I serve at our church and lead worship, and I've been going through a period of burnout just in that, and realizing that in a way it makes you feel selfish because you really need to put yourself first, but you do, but we don't, because we have to be other centered. We need to be all about everybody else, But in doing that, you end up never working on yourself. And then you get burnt out. You turn angry. You're always stressed out. And I think it's so important, there's that, it's not selfish to work on yourself,
and when you look
and do things that are healthy for you. So like right now I'm playing pickleball because it's something for me. I can go get some exercise. I can check out, and it's healthy for me. Like I come out of that re-energized because I'm killing a couple birds with one stone, but I come out of that, re-energized. So I'm working on my health and things like that. And I'm able to, that's just one thing. And then the other thing is 75 Hard helped me. And so that is really about being disciplined. And I think having that discipline and that routine in your life also helps with you being a better person, so that you can better show up for the people around you. And so that dichotomy between putting yourself first so that you can be better for the other people, for me, that was the struggle that I had. I didn't want to care about myself because I need to be about for other people. Why would I want to care for myself? And then I'm putting myself down for wanting to do that. But now I realize, especially in the entrepreneurial world, like you have to, because there's so many people who need you, and you need to be there for them. But then with that, you got to create good boundaries as well. That goes with
Absolutely.
clients too. You can have boundaries
Yes.
with clients.
Absolutely, you can. And I think they will respect you more for it when you
Yep.
do. And for me, in that journey and the event that I went to, since then, I seek to live by 4 principles: faith, build my life on 4 pillars. And that is faith, God first, family, my wife and kids, my finance, or my fitness, and my finance.
Yep.
And in that order.
Yeah.
And if I put more pressure on one than the other, things get out of balance. Obviously, God first.
Yeah.
You're never going to ruin your life by putting God first and putting too much weight on that. But at the same time, if you're putting too much on finance, you cannot
If you're chasing
build a
finance,
successful family. Some of the other pillars going to hurt. And then with that, I live in the world that I create. Like, if you are the result of your choices and the actions and the so if you want to win and being consistent and disciplined in fitness, you will find that you become more fit in your finances and your family, and they, my boys will drop down and work out with me any day, anytime.
I love that.
Because they see it and they want to be healthy. Like, they care about, they'll sometimes be like, hey, we want McDonald's, whatever. But they also do care about, well, that's not good for me, because they see that I'm living that. And then with that, I cannot give what I don't have.
Yep.
And so often we think, and what that means is, am I receiving the Father's love that I can love others? Am I receiving what the Father has for me so that I can give it to others? If you don't have money, how are you going to give money to somebody, right? Like, that's obviously that's a very simple thing. You don't think, if you don't ever question that. If you don't have money, you can't give money away.
Yeah.
But we don't think about that with things that are far more valuable than money: relationship, love, grace, and mercy. That these are all, as a Christian, as a kingdom man, these are all things that we can be giving to our community and to our society. That
how are
it's
you
on
gonna
us to whether we do it.
love well if you don't receive love well?
Exactly.
How are you gonna? So then with business, how are you going to? We all want good leaders in our crews,
Right?
But you're not going to attract a good leader if you're not a good leader.
Exactly. No, and absolutely. And something you said there about love, I think that's something about, if you don't love, or if you don't have the Father's love, like, if we don't have that, if we don't understand that, one, we won't have that to give to other people. What you said about that reminded me, it will show you where you don't receive love well. Okay. Like, if you're struggling to receive the love from God and from the Father, or receive something from other people or whatever, say you even struggle receiving something from somebody, okay? You will find the broken mindsets within you that might be broken mindsets about, whether it be relationship with your family, your dad, or broken relationships with money. You have to be able to understand those things. Once you start living that way and start living to seek to actually care about that stuff, you will see also, it will humble you in the sense of, this is how much I need to grow. These are all the ways that I can be growing. These are all the ways that I can become a better person. Whereas when you're not living that way, honestly, it's kind of selfish, because you're not aware of, oh, I need to be, or you're not aware. It's selfish in the sense of, you're not aware of anybody or anything else around you. You're not as aware of where you're not showing up.
Yeah.
Whereas once you seek to receive the Father's love so that you can give it to other people, you seek to be fit, and to be healthy, to live longer, to, all those things. It goes against the grain of society that we have been taught. That is the truth, because we live in a very obese society, a very gluttonous society, a very covetous society. And that's not who we are to be, as one, as Christians, as kingdom believers, and two, as business owners.
Yeah, which exactly.
Because it affects all that. It's just, all of that affects that.
Exactly. And that's where, the entrepreneurial journey has done that for me. It's really helped me become a better husband, better father, better leader. And so has the hardscape industry.
Yes. Absolutely. But this is where I know that as far as getting clear and the things of what I want out of business and what I want out of in my life is that the truth is I'd probably be just as excited about starting an HVAC company that I know nothing about and building the company in the sense of versus landscaping. Yeah, I know landscaping, so that's my comfort zone. But at the same time, in thinking in my brain about how I want to build a life of what my goals and dreams are, I don't care what that is. So then maybe that there's our question. Both me and you have had that same experience, right?
Yeah.
In the sense of we know that yes, we're good at it, we can do it well, but it's not where our heart is in the sense of clarity of what we want out of life and business. So is that the difference between the people that really do well in landscaping and excavation, or I mean, hardscaping, and the people that struggle with it?
I'll probably find out through this podcast, because that's going to be a question now that I ask probably. What is your why?
Mhm.
Like, why are you in this industry? Is it because you're a business guy and you just want to grow a business and this is where you landed? Or is it because you love what you do?
Mhm.
In regards to like I loved what I did, I love
Right, exactly.
stuff, but it
It's
wasn't,
not about not liking what you do.
it's not
That's
about
not
like,
even, it's deeper than that.
it's about knowing this is what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
Like, for as long
Mhm.
as you can, because you love it that much.
Because I'll be real honest, I don't want to lay pavers for the rest of my
No,
life.
I can't. My back's shot now. So
Exactly. Exactly. Whether it be back or just physically or whatever, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I want to be able now, if it created me the freedom to lay the pavers on the days that I want to lay pavers,
mhm.
and then the rest of the days be selling, designing, talking to clients, going and like truthfully, I wish I had more time to do things that truthfully aren't always revenue producing, but yet build your brand. Does that make sense?
Yep, exactly. Yep. No, that's great. And what do you think I'm doing?
Yeah.
This podcast.
Mhm.
That's a great piece of, eventually it becomes a revenue, maybe not directly, but indirectly. All this stuff matters when you're
Mhm.
growing a business.
Absolutely, it does. Every bit of it.
Yeah.
You don't realize down to the tiniest little details how every bit of it affects that. The one thing that I would say to anybody getting into the landscaping and hardscaping, sure you love it. I'm sure you do. And I'm sure you want the excavator and the truck and the all that kind of stuff. And I'm not against payments. I'm not against debt. My opinion is if you choose to partner with it, then partner with it. Don't get mad when one month we all do, right?
Yeah.
We'll happily sign on the dotted line when we're going to get that piece of equipment. And then the month that it's tight, the month that we're struggling or say, we don't have as much work, then we're mad. Then we're going to be all Dave Ramsey and we're going to go no debt, whatever. I'm just saying so if you decide to partner with debt, then partner with debt. That's fine. Do it. Just go all in and don't complain when the payment's short or when you're tight on it. Figure it out.
Just be wise and figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thought I have on it. Second, if you don't want to do the debt, don't do the debt. You will have more freedom if you do, and there's not a problem with that. But
do it
with that,
responsibly, obviously.
you do it responsibly. So the new guys getting into this, like this is a good thing. Just don't grow too fast.
Yeah.
Don't let Instagram get into your head and think that it just all comes overnight, because it doesn't.
No, you don't need all the new stuff. You can go rent stuff. It's fine.
Or what it takes to do that. I mean, I know I have friends that have $12,000 in payments every month and they haven't done $1 million a year yet.
Yeah.
And I go, huh? I mean, that's cool. That's fine. He's partnered with that. It's not that I fault him for that. That's good for him.
Mhm.
Okay. And he's good with that and he handles it. Okay. But at the same time, I'm just like, he also works Saturdays and nights and every day to make that work. But I'm not willing to make that sacrifice away from my family. I'm not willing to do that in the sense of have all those things just to give up time with my wife and kids. I have a far greater responsibility in having time for my wife and kids in that. And that's truthfully where I'm at now in seeking a little more freedom in a different avenue of business. And what does that look like in a different avenue of business?
Which just brings us back to the whole why conversation. What is it that's driving you?
Yeah. So I guess what we have discovered in this podcast is whys. Why and clarity.
Yep.
The whys of business,
and
figure out your why and be clear on it. And then just be so dead clear on it that that's what you want. And what I am clear on is that I would rather work some less. I don't care about working hard. I'll work hard when I need to work hard.
Yeah.
And then honestly, profit is sanity.
Stop chasing top line revenue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And start just chasing jobs just to get them. Honestly, like I struggle with that mindset too. Well, I got to get the job. I don't have work. It's like this month right now, it has been better for me to prioritize taking care of the leads that I have and that are coming in, and the connections I can make, and setting up for getting busy and being busy, and just preparing your mind for it, preparing your business for it, all those kinds of things. Versus I had opportunity to take these little landscape jobs that I'm like, maybe I should take them because they'd be cash like right now. No,
Yeah.
because they just leave me frustrated, not get done fast enough. I'd be, it's just going to turn money. Just because I put 6, 7, 10,000 bucks in the bank today, tomorrow, there's no like rejuvenation of it. It's just cash flow. So it's
Right.
better to hurt a little bit and go down to zero if you have to for a month and be profitable the next month than it is to flounder around and lose money the month before. And that's what I guess I'm learning. And that's had to take a lot of patience and surrender for me, that I know and just trust God in this and say, God, you have me and you have my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And in mind. So, and that's where,
And
how do you not have faith
you've
in these
learned
businesses?
too, and you just learn from your experiences too. Like,
Yes.
You're like, I'm sick of doing it this way. I've been doing it like this and it's not working. So let's try something different.
Was the definition of stupidity?
Yeah. Keep doing the same.
Keep doing the same thing.
And expecting a different result.
Yeah. And expecting a different result.
Yep, exactly. So, cool, man. Well, we covered a lot.
Hopefully this is helpful to somebody to start looking for clarity and to figure out their why and to get real about that and be like, do I want that? Like, I guess my thing would be is like, I would never say, because I'm not that guy. Experience has taught me a lot. Okay. But I've wanted to learn the truth is, maybe it's because I'm stubborn. I've wanted to learn those things for myself. Okay. In the sense of, yeah, people will be like, hey, don't go in debt. Don't get a payment. Don't do this, do that. I go, why? And the one thing that I found is that they're actually not true in what they're saying, in the sense of they themselves have the payments and do all those things, yet they tell everybody else not to.
Yeah.
And I found that in a lot of avenues of life, and I've wondered why that is. And I'm not here to tell you, don't get a payment on the excavator, don't get a payment on the truck. Do it. If that's what you want to do, do it. Just be clear on what you're doing and why you're going to do it, and then go with it. And I guess in mine, I did do that, and I'm fine with those choices, but I'm also like, you learn from the mistakes and go, that might help you figure out your why. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And maybe that doesn't make sense. It's just like, I don't want to be the guy that's telling you don't get the payments, and neither do I want to be the guy that's saying do get your payments. Make the
decision. Make the decision and commit to it. And if it was the wrong
and then be clear
wrong decision, now you learned. And I think that's probably key is, and this is where I was at with my coach, talked about this a lot too, was you need to make decisions faster. I think Alex Hormozy talked about it a lot too.
Yes.
But you can't just sit on something and not make the decision. You will never progress because you'll be sitting there, you'll just become stagnant from fear or whatever it is. Make the decision. Because no matter what, something good's going to come out of it. It's either going to be a good decision and you're going to succeed, or it'll be a bad decision, but you just learned. And that's good.
Yes. So, I guess that's where I would be at with the payments is like, I don't regret the payments. But then I also did learn. I still don't regret the payments, and they're worth it, and the debt and whatever. That's whatever. But at the same time, I've got clear on my why and what's actually important to me and what really does matter to me. And I also learned the lessons of this. It's like there's a lot of coaches that will tell you this. It's going to be hard. You get to choose your hard, right?
Yeah.
If you're broke, that's going to be hard. If you're strapped for cash, that's going to be hard. But it's also going to be hard to have money because that means you're going to have to be disciplined. So, and it's hard to stay busy, but it's also hard if you don't have any work.
Yeah, they're both hard. So choose. I would rather be too busy, obviously.
Yeah, same. I will take the stress of too busy, but then profitable too busy. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I put that caveat on there? Because in the middle of that is crazy busy, not profitable, stressed out, and just burnt.
Well, I hear
that's foolishness.
I heard that from somebody like, well, I don't want to do too much marketing because then my phone will ring too much. It'll be too much work. I'm like, the best fix in the world for that. Just charge more.
Yeah.
Like, what's great about it is you have control now. You're not chasing the next job. You've got a whole bucket of jobs. So now you can filter through them and just charge more,
Just like sitting in a skid steer doesn't make you a business owner. Just because you know how to run a skid steer excavator and even do a paver patio does not make you a business owner. And I feel like maybe that's what we're entering, a season of actually either you're going to train up, listen up, coach up, become a business owner, or just be like, no,
you're going to fizzle out.
Yeah, or fizzle out. And that doesn't mean that you can be an owner operator to business owner.
Right.
And when we're talking business owner, you're owning a business and you're not always working. The revenue does not stop with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You are not the main revenue producer.
That's a different
mindset
than an owner operator.
Yes, because
Honestly,
there's plenty of people that are fine with that.
Like, if that's what you want to be, like, just go be a foreman somewhere. You'll make more and have less stress.
That in today's economy, and I feel like that's a part of a thing of today's economy and the cost of things. Because I feel like there's also guys that are like, I'm fine with being an owner operator. I'm gonna be owner operator. But then they find out as an owner operator, you can barely make enough by yourself to be able to afford to run a business, the taxes, the trucks, the payment, whether you have a payment or two to have the equipment to do what you want to do, then you struggle with that.
Yeah. You take a couple weeks off a year, but you can do that at a good job too.
Yes. Yeah.
It's also something to be said that, like, you're your own boss, So, and then a lot of people joke like, yeah, well, I don't like working for people, or I don't like working for a boss. It's like, well, now you're going to have your clients and they're your boss.
Yeah. You get to choose your bosses, but they might not always be nice.
Nice. Well, cool, man. This was a great conversation.
This is fun.
I really appreciate you being on.
Absolutely.
If somebody wanted to reach out and ask more questions, where could they reach out?
CM Outdoors _Wyoming on Instagram. Tell Nick you want to talk to me.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you on the next one.